So it looks as if Moody's is a little bit late to the game here. They come out, they downgrade some European nations, and they put the UK on the outlook for a possible downgrade. But stocks seem to yawn, and government bonds sell nicely.
Yeah, shock news. Eurozone nations in fiscal stress. Shock. This is exactly what we knew. And yes, Moody's has taken some of the ratings below where some of the other rating agencies have got particular countries. But really, yeah, it didn't cause too much trouble in the markets this morning in European time, because most people did accept that this is something that we already know pretty clearly. The move on the outlook for the UK is quite interesting. The UK has kind of been left alone by the rating agencies for quite a while now, while everyone's attention's been focused on continental Europe. But we got a bit of a reminder today that we're not out of the woods yet.
Katie, let me ask you, I guess this is a pretty simple question here. Why do we care anymore? I mean, why is this news important? Why is this headline? Why is this headline news right now? I mean, the stock market in the U.S. is selling off a little bit, but again, it's not a drastic move. Obviously, everything going on in Europe, we know that this is not going to be solved anytime soon. So, why do we care?
Well, I think we've all become quite caught up, and with good reason, in the sort of to and fro of what's happening in Greece and what's happening on the PSI deal and what's going through the Greek Parliament and so on and so forth. It is worth getting a reminder now and then that this is an issue that's not contained solely to Greece, and that the rest of the euro area has got fiscal stresses too.
I guess the one difference with the Moody's note yesterday was that they put the United Kingdom on outlook for a possible downgrade. What was the reaction in the UK?
Well, the Chancellor over here has said this is a wake-up call and a reminder that we need to take our finances in hand. But actually, if you read through what Moody's was saying, yes, they do, praise the UK government measures to address financial stresses, but they also say that we're very vulnerable to what goes on, the other side of the channel in Europe, and that there are obviously trade links and banking links that leave the UK very exposed to what happens over there. And really, there's a limit to what UK authorities can do about any of that. We're not in the euro. We're not in the mix in quite the same way as a lot of other countries are. So, again, it's a timely reminder that we're pretty vulnerable to all this.
And Katie, I guess now, while we're on the topic of Europe, it's important to point out what's going on in Greece, and their economic numbers continue to just look horrible, to put it bluntly. The country is in a recession. It's now 5 years running in a recession. The GDP numbers are down to like 7%. Talk a little bit about, the Greece numbers that we just got.
Yeah, I mean, revolting numbers, 7% year-on-year drop in GDP seen in the fourth quarter of last year. Whichever way you cut it, that is horrible. The problem is that there's a good argument that obviously what's going on with the austerity measures that are being imposed by the international creditors are making this worse. And, it's very easy to lose sight of the fact that while, the markets sort of jump up and down and say, well, Greece needs to do this, that and the other, there's a huge human consequence to all this. The jobless rate is terrifying. You hear reports of families giving up their children to orphanages because they simply can't afford to feed them. They're not having a great time of this, and this GDP reading is a reminder.
One last question. What's the next catalyst that people should be monitoring for in terms of coming out of Europe?
Oh, we love our deadlines. We love our schedules over here. Yes, we have a Eurogroup meeting tomorrow, at which point, on a European Union level, we should be signing off on the next aid package for Greece. It seems to me vanishingly unlikely that the whole thing will fall apart at this stage, but you can certainly expect some kind of argumentative headlines coming out from Eurozone politicians and officials over the next sort of 24, 48 hours.